My name is Abigail, I'm based here in Moorepark and I'm working with the Greenfield Dairy Farm programme in Kilkenny. So I'm just going to talk to you briefly about the programme, an update, the challenges so far, some of the things going right for us and where we're going to from here. So just briefly, the farm is 113 hectares, converted from tillage in 2009. It's a lease farm for 15 years. There's a borrowing of over 800,000 on the farm. And we actually spent over €1 million investing on the farm for things such as roadways, cows, infrastructure, etc. And we'd like to acknowledge our sponsors here, the Farmers Journal and BFBD Trust, the Department of Agriculture, AIB, and the owners of the farm who contributed to the other amount of money to set up the farm. So just today then, there's 324 cows milking, and we're up from 295 cows in 2011. I suppose what was different last year is we started paying back the principal on the loan. It was the first year we paid it back, so we had less cash left over. We had about 20,000 here left over. This year, with the milk price being better, with more cows and more milk produced, we'll have about 43,000 left over. Just I suppose on the milk production side of it, we're up about 25% on milk production compared to this time last year, and that is a result of more cows being milked, more compact calving and a bit more meal fed this year. We're also up on over 15% on the total milk solids production. We're estimating at the moment we'll be up on last year and about 390 kilos of milk solids produced per cow. Now, just to look at the challenges so far on the farm, I suppose just briefly, our board is small, so we hadn't room to put everything in, but lameness was a problem in the spring, and we had to make the decision to spend €16,000 on 2 kilometres of roadway. That excludes VAT, but it has been very successful. We've had no new cases of lameness since. Cell count was a challenge last year. It averaged at 234. So this time last year, 12.5% of the herd were actually over 400,000, and it was a huge challenge to keep it under the 200 all the time. This year, as a result of more milk accordance, more heifers coming in, a little bit more culling, a different type of pre and post spray and drying in the parlour. We've had today 3% of the herd are greater than 400,000, so there's a huge improvement here. If we look at the fertility, just briefly, by the 2nd of March this year, last year half of the herd were calved, and by the 14th of February this year half the herd were calved. So there's a big improvement here. A number of reasons. There was an increase in the number of heifers that came in, more of the heifers calved in the first 6 weeks. We had an earlier calving mating start date, and we didn't have any May calvers this year either. Other things going well on the farm. Our output is good, it's well up on last year. We measure everything from the financials down to the grass every week. We have a good system, and more important than anything, finally, there's excellent staff there which make it very successful. Is it a viable option? Yes, it is. Obviously, it's a very large-scale operation. It may not be for everyone because you have to employ staff for this as well. But if you have a large farm, it definitely can make money. I would say, though, that you must have a good system in place. You must measure everything, because if we didn't measure everything, we may not have all this cash left over at the end of the year. Milk price is good, and that's why we have a lot of cash left over, and we're running it as efficiently as we can. Now, if it isn't run efficiently, then you won't have the cash left over and you could go bankrupt.